Well, hi, my YouTube friends. I'm back again on this beautiful sunny day. I think probably we're going to get spring after all, even though it's more snow coming the weekend. But we stay forever positive. I'm going to tell you today, I know I've already talked about this book, Haunted Towns, Ghost Stories of Newfoundland and Labrador. This book contains a story to do with a very, very unbelievable, horrific fairy blast. Now, when I documented the story in this, because it is a true story that happened to a friend of the family, of my family, used to come to our house when I was a child. It definitely happened, and when I documented in this book, as a curse. It was a curse, but at the time I was documenting and so on. I perceived it as an evil spirit that had come back and possessed this person, sort of like an exorcism. Well, yeah, it actually was an exorcism, but in other readings and so on of the paranormal, and the old folklore of the area that I came from, I discovered that it probably was an actual fairy blast, a very evil fairy blast. So I guess it could be a combination of all those things. It is the real story is in this book, this collection of about 40 true paranormal stories of Newfoundland and Labrador. They are set in Newfoundland and Labrador, but they could apply to or be relevant to, in context, to anywhere, any region of the world really that experiences these experiences, all kinds of ghostly apparitions and paranormal behavior, poltergeist, and all that stuff. Any area of the world could certainly identify with and enjoy these true stories contained in this book. Now, this story that I just mentioned about where the man was possessed by this evil spirit that of a tragic shipwreck, like I said, the true story is in this book. However, prior to this book, I had published these two books, which actually I expanded the concept, I expanded the true story in this one into a fiction horror novel called HANNIGAN'S Hand, because the man that this happened to, his arm was infected and was possessed by evil spirits, and it took a priest to exorcise out the evil spirit. That really happened. In this book, I took that same event and expanded it into a horror fiction novel involving 4 teenagers who happened to visit this old house that they were vacationing in, and became involved in this horrible encounter and horrible possession of the old house, and all these things that happened to them. If you've seen the worst kind of psychic movies on TV, I can't even think right off. The very worst ones you can see on television or in the movies. They scare the hell out of people. This is pretty good. This would scare the hell out of you. So this was written before I wrote this collection right here, because the story that this is about, that I heard as a child, stayed with me all my life, and it was a terrible, terrible story that happened to a friend of ours. So I took that and I expanded it into this horror novel called HANNIGAN'S Hand. So if you want to read the fiction version of that true story, The Curse of this man, Dan Hannigan, you can read this. If you want to read the true story, it's in this book. And then, moving on from this one, where I talked about, which I developed into a horror fiction novel. When this was published, there was a woman in it that I created, a character that I created, I created her. Like I said, there was 3 or 4 other characters that were created, fictionally created, based on the true horror story that happened. Anyways, I created this woman, and people wanted to know what really. People were always seeing this woman, so in floorboards and coming up and at the sea and so on and so forth, and she had all this happen to her, and she had this terrible sadness about her that she was in the same shipwreck, and she wanted to find her husband who was lost. And anyway, when I ended this book, the woman was present in the narrative, but the story ended. I didn't think it necessary at the time to really talk about her too much further. She was a character I created, and there was enough action going on in the book that you would not miss what really happened with her. However, when my fans started reading this book, they said, "What happened to this lady, this ghost lady? Like, what was the story on her? Like, what happened to her? Like, who was she, and why was she there? And did she ever get closure to what she wanted, who she lost, and did she find her baby and her husband and all this, because she lost her baby in the same wreck." So, well, she didn't find her baby, obviously, but she was tormented. She was tormented about it, and she couldn't cross over to the other realm. So, subsequently, I wrote this book. This is called Hannigan's Hand. Hannigan's Hand. This one is it's Hannigan's Hand, The Ghost Woman Talks, which is the expanded edition of this one. And it brings back the lady, the ghost lady, who I created in this book, in Hannigan's Hand, this one. And I brought her back, and I created a whole series of, positive things that happened to this lady, involving a Ouija board, involving one of the characters in the story, Shelley, her name is, a teenage girl, one of a twin. And I created a scenario where it was a Ouija board, and through the Ouija board, and this medium in this book, her name is Mrs. Dodd. She was a very respectable lady by day and a community leader and all this stuff. But by night she was a medium. So she and Shelley get together and they get on this Ouija board, and they actually find this lady's husband. Maybe I'm telling too much here. Maybe I'm just giving too much away. But anyway, this is the expanded edition of Hannigan's Hand. And this is going over gangbusters as well. I mean, these books are really doing well all over. Anyway, that's about it for those 3. So it's a trio here. We want to really get into the paranormal. There's 3 you can buy anywhere on Amazon. Chapters. They're in the libraries. They're all over anyway. All the online sites. They're everywhere. This here is some media material related to the launch of this book. It's a collection of true stories. This is, and that's me on the back cover wearing my little hat. This is the launch, or related to the launch, and a quote there. I don't know if you can read all the material, but excuse me. Anyway, it's all there about the launch, and about some quotes about the book, and a picture of me taken last summer. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there as a matter of interest. I think I talked about it before, but it's nice material to show when you're doing something about your books that you write. And here's another one here. This is a newspaper article. I'm right here sitting down. This is a newspaper article was taken at the launch of this book. So that's quite nice too. Like I said, there was lots of other promo that I could involve here today, but I don't have it on me. I mean, I have it on me, but I haven't got it, you know, highlighted or framed or anything to actually show it properly. Anyway, that's it for today. So I will be talking about future books in other videos. I'll be talking about the process of writing, and I'll be talking about lots of other fun stuff like fashion and makeup and all this stuff about being a certain age and staying young and active and interested in life and all that good stuff. So I'm on Facebook, Geraldine Ryan Lush. I'm also on Twitter at G Ryan Lush, if you want to check me out. Anyway, stay cool, take care, and have a great day. I'll see you soon.